Now, one of the greatest life hacks that I could ever point people towards is the Parenting Quadrant, because it is going to help you recognize the hows and why to your nervous system responding the way it does, but it's also going to give you so much added insight to your own growth and healing journey based on how you were raised. Now, the Parenting Quadrant was designed by developmental psychologists in the 60s, and it has evolved a little bit since then. But the way I like to teach and approach it is utilizing it like a skill tree, that your life will break down into the various aspects of physical time and affection, emotional, mental stimulus, spiritual development, and love, just the basic, feeling nurtured and cared for and provided. And you can almost use this as different nodes that fall into different categories. And because of how it impacts you, which we will be diving into in the next few weeks, that you can see that it leads you to a bunch of different expressions that life can take you. Now, when it comes down to the basic understanding, in the description, you can check that out down below, but there's 4 main quadrants. You have the Authoritarian, which is very much so a high demand but low affection realm, which is very much so like all my fellow old school kids that were raised in the Judge Dredd style, like I am the law, judge, jury, executioner. Then you have the Neglectful right below that. And this is really just the absent parent. There's low structure, there's low affection. Now, across from there, you have the Permissive, which is really high affection, but really low structure and demand, which creates, a lot of the, what I like to call the hold me generation, like hold this. And this is the response to the old school approach, which is, again, helicopter parenting, permissive approach, where it's the child has a lot more authority and role of how things operate. And then you have the one above that, the best for last is what I like to say, is because it's the authoritative. It's the two-way street. It's the parent that knows that you're like a teacher and a mentor and a coach and a nurturer and a provider, and those things change as the child changes and develops. So you need to meet them where they're at. Now, we're going to be diving into these the next few weeks because there's so much that could be just unpacked with each one. But again, check out the description below. That's the basic breakdown. You got the 2 categories that create the axis of warmth and affection and structure and demand. And through that, you have a whole cascade of impacts of how this impacts children and how it, again, develops us into adults. Now, I'm sure you know which one is the best one that leads to the most success, the lowest crime rates, the greatest life satisfaction and mental health. And it's the Authoritative, the two-way street. But we'll be diving into that, so be sure to follow along for the journey. And remember, I love you. Peace.